Peace. So usually I have a whole bunch of things to say, because generally I'm thinking about who I'm doing this video for and why I'm doing this video and things of that nature. But today is not that. I'm actually doing this video for me, because I really don't have what most people have, and some people don't have it, when you actually need to kind of be lifted up, or when you actually want to be in a positive vibration. Sometimes what I notice is that everybody is going through their own shit, and in order not to pull on energy, I find that the easiest and best thing to do is feel yourself. Be that centrifugal force that you are. Be that spiritual being having a human experience that you are. I had a dream. It's weird, but it made sense to me. It was John Goodman and Jim Carrey, but he was Truman. So it was Good Man and True Man, right? And they was having this conversation. True Man and Good Man, they had both transitioned. They was in heaven or whatever. And they was talking about life. And they was talking about me. They was like, he's a good guy. And then Goodman was like, he's a good guy. True Man was like, he's a true guy. He's a true man. Because he's telling people the truth. A good person, might give you flowers, ring around the rosy, take you on a trip, take you on a vacation, fuck you to a million orgasms. A good man will buy you a house. A good man will drape you off in diamonds. A true man will open you up to the possibility of your intuition. A true man will open you up to the reality that you are a spiritual being having a human experience. And I start this video because within the human experience, there is only despair. There is only bigger, more security. And generally, you have to transition within the human experience without having an emotional response to it. So this is why I continue the series of preparing for Kundalini, because generally in preparing for Chakra Nova, which comes out May 23rd, pre-orders are available now. We're talking about the conjuring of major spiritual energy, and Prime Harmonic talks about this all the time. When he got into this early, he didn't prepare thoroughly and effectively, and it generally had harsh circumstances. So when people ask me about chakras, I'm very clear to say, go from your root, but even more so, understand what you are doing. So I'm still in the space of creating the tagline, and I feel like I've inched one step closer to creating a tagline for Chakra Nova, and it is such: developing an intimate connection with your divinity. Something to that effect. But taglines are summarizing the book in about 5 words, and generally that's going to be a difficult aspect for me, but it's easier the more that I edit the book. So I just want to thank everybody that has supported me thus far, people that donate and send contributions via PayPal and Cash App. I really do appreciate it, because ultimately it's crazy out here in these streets, and if y'all support me in the work that I'm doing, I'm able to do it. However, If people don't support me, then I'll have to go to the next best thing, which might be robbing a bank. So if you don't want to see the Hood Mystic on, Fox Action 9 tonight, astrologer turned bank robber, load up them donations if you got it. If you don't, you might want to DM me so we can talk about robbing this bank together. No cap. So we're going to we referenced yesterday Revelations chapter 7 verse 1. Now I'm referencing verse 2, 3, and 4 in the reference of self-healing. I want to do this video not for anybody, but specifically for myself, because I generally need a word. I generally need a positive energy, especially when I don't feel as empowered as I generally do. And that's just the normal ups and downs, ebbs and flows of being a psychic reader. I generally have to give a lot of energy and restore myself a lot of times. And the best way is to reflect on my spiritual and soul development, because the reality is that I am not only the president of Chakra Nova, I'm also the client as well. So I learn from this process probably more than anybody. But generally, that's really how it's supposed to go, in my opinion. I don't want to be the head honcho, because the reality of Chakra Nova, the reality of soul development is that it's a leveling playing field. So when I ask for donations, when I ask for things that are, in general, I'm more or less feeling like it's an energy exchange. And so, like, if I'm stressing over money or things of that nature, I'll be like, okay, let that go, right? Let the stress go and begin to rely on energy exchange and go deep within myself to deliver something of value to another person. And generally, sometimes you can't really give nobody shit of value until you begin to give yourself something of value. So in reference to the ultimate intrinsic value, I'm using a lot of big words, but if you Google the words instead of just skimming over the shit that I say, you will get a lot of insight if you don't fully comprehend the level of communication for which I'm distributing at this present moment. Because I don't have a tremendous amount of time to break down every single word and break down every single syllable. So in reference to intrinsic value, we can break that down. You have extrinsic value versus intrinsic value. So you have the good man, which is extrinsic value. The good man looks good. He has the money. He has the big giant penis, right? He has the big muscles, right? He's fucking Paul Bunyan and a gangster and a scholar, right? He works out and he's a lab technician. He's kind of witchy too. He's sensitive and emotional, in touch with his feminine side, right? Creative player too. He plays basketball, football, and baseball, and lacrosse. He got a medical degree, right? He's perfect, right? That is the good man. The true man might not be none of that, but what he is aware of his intuition. He is creative, he is spontaneous, and he is prepared and destined for love, right? And most people don't want to deal with the true man. They only want to deal with the good man. But I'm specifically playing the role of the true man in this particular moment. And the results of the true man is that you might not get everything that you want, but you do get everything that you want. But the true man then tries to be the good man, meaning that he tries to live up to the level of the good man. But when you see everything happening around you, you're developing your soul, you're developing your intuition. The dark side of this shit is that you get what you want. But the reality is that you'll never be able to get what you want by being a good person. And I know, like, you really do think like going to church and being a good person and being a hardworking person is going to get you what you want. But generally, like, it's a lot of shit. It would make a person just say fuck it sometimes, right? And when you say fuck it, you be like, you're no longer a good person. You're no longer a good man, but he is transcended from being a good man to a true man. And that's the sacrifice that a lot of people make day in and day out. Our jail systems are filled with true men, not good men and good women, right? People who decided, hey, I was reflecting on the fact of going to prison and just saying, shit, I just needed money to buy a Hardee's number 7 at when me and my homeboys went to the goddamn Hardee's at the end of the night, right? So I said, fuck it, I might as well sell a little bit of weed. Wasn't to be a bad person. So into the scripture. And I saw another angel ascending from the east, having the seal of the living God, and he cried with a loud voice to the 4 angels, to whom was given to hurt the earth and the sea. Now, in your biblical concept, like before we go any further, I got to bring this to attention. And that's going to be in small print and you're going to be hard to read it. But if you look really closely, everything that we're referencing in the reference to the Bible, every single word, every single letter, every single identification concept within that Bible is purely symbolical. It's the same as Mickey Mouse never fully existing. So generally you don't reference, make sure you clean up that puddle, because the last time in goddamn Mickey and Minnie house, when I seen somebody slip in the puddle, they went to another dimension. So make sure you clean up that puddle. You obviously know it's a cartoon, so it don't exist. It's symbolical. So in reference to the Bible and understanding the Bible, why we would have a conversation in reference to Revelation is because we can get and tap into the symbols. So generally, if you're looking at this from a specific, over simplistic, rational, literal point of view, then you're missing a deeper point. And as we reference these deeper points, let's look into the highlights. And I'm only referencing shit that I've been over and over again in my private thoughts and private study. But now I'm just bringing to the surface. And I feel like I'm bringing it to the surface now because after doing the Chakra Nova, I find that this is going to be a nice little prelude and prerequisite to once we fully get into the full pre-production of the promotion of Chakra Nova. Because I still haven't developed the marketing plan, believe it or not. I still haven't went into different areas and realms of how I'm going to produce it and get it out. But I reference Chakra Nova. I reference this whole process because I feel it's important. And generally, I do a lot of content surrounding it so you can kind of explain a very large concept. It's a reason that we had 7 classes over 8 to 9 months, right? Because it's a lot of information and I'm trying to remove all of the cobwebs and simplify it and bring it into a realistic space, because the person might say, well, why did you spread it out when I could just hear about it in just one sit down? Yeah, you can hear about it in one sit down, but we're trying to not overstimulate you with real information. It's like no pun intended, but you have to be primed for this shit, right? And that's actually a wonderful pun. So I'm going vacate that previous statement and say the pun was definitely intended, because that was just a gorgeous and prophetic and perfect pun. So you have to be primed for this specific content in reference to Kundalini energy, in reference to dealing with the awareness and intuitions of the soul. So when you see another angel ascending from the east is where the sun rises. So in the Bible, if you see the east, they're not talking about on a compass that you need to go east of Bethlehem. They're talking about where the sun rises from is the east. So generally, when you reference the sun rising east, astrology, because that matters too, astronomy, you're then referencing the birth of consciousness. It just seems as though it just emerges from the darkness, from the depths of unconsciousness, right? And we'll get to unconsciousness at some point, but at this point, we're just referencing the sun rising from the east. So that's a symbol for our soul and our consciousness. So when you see another angel ascending from the east, you're seeing another messenger arising from your soul, having the seal of the living God. So when you reference a seal, you're then referencing a document that's verifying or validating what's being sent. So generally, you want to have a seal from your divine mind as opposed a seal from your insanity. So generally, I had a question and I got it answered today, and that came from my divine mind because I've posed it in a specific way. Generally, an insanity would be like, all right, let's go rob a bank. Let's shoot this thing up. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, where'd that come from? It came from my insanity. It came from my thoughts. It came from my mind. But generally, when it has the seal of the living God, you're then referencing the seal of your divine mind. Okay? And he cried with a loud voice to the four angels. So ultimately, when you see four in the Bible, four angels, four beasts, they're talking about the personality. And the beast is the personality of whoever's reading it. It's not an externalized version of something that you should be afraid of. You should be afraid of yourself outside of you raising up your fucking kundalini and your chakras. Because any individual is a beast. He is a good man, but he is extrinsic, and he only knows how to have a big house, how to have a nice car, how to have big muscles, how to sex you to sleep, right? And wake you up in the middle of the night, right? Sex into the daylight, right? It seems so miraculous, and it is. It's wonderful to start having sex in the dark time and then look up and see the sun rising and you still having sex, right? But that's not going to be your salvation in reference to your awareness of your soul. So that might not be from the seal of the living God. That might not be from the seal of your divine mind. That might be the part of your energy that is a beast. And when you reference all of these men and energy out here, from the Kevin Samuels on down, everybody that curates his energy and tries to live up to their standards, these people are beasts. These people can only think in physical terms. These people are beasts. And you watch it and try to live up to that shit, you're a beast too. The idea is to develop your intuition and not be a fucking beast. And he cried with a loud voice to the four angels, to whom was given to hurt the earth and the sea. So as Zachary Lansdowne says, and I had this slide, but I don't have it any longer, I'll explain it. The spirit, or whoever's reading the Bible, when you open the Bible, everything that you read is talking about your ass. It's not talking about Bethlehem, Zechariah, Moses. None of them niggas existed. It's symbolical. Might as well get into Mickey Mouse and Minnie Mouse and Daffy Duck and start worshiping them. If you're going to start worshiping people outside of the Bible, it's all symbolical and it's all codes in relation to your human body. Period. End of story. The spirit, or the person reading it, you are aware of an intuition coming from the soul that carries divine authority. It gives clear instruction to his fourfold personality, which now has the capacity to awaken Kundalini. So the four angels represent a capacity to even activate your chakras. And I know, listen, we can go back and forth. We can do a Zoom, a Google Meet, a IG Live, okay? There is no way you can tell me that you know what you fucking don't know. Only thing that you can say is that I'm too afraid or I'm too lazy to know what I don't know. So I rather hold on to what I know, which is some small crumb, fragmented, but it's my experience. I hold value to it, and value then creates the emotions. But at the end of the day, you're a beast. Only then, when you self-purify of your humanity, of its desires, of its emotion, and this is a larger, grander conversation that motherfuckers ain't ready for at the end of the day. But if you want to go back and forth on some shit that really truly matters, you can get anybody on the planet and say, listen to what this dude is saying, and then argue with him. Tell him that he wrong. And do it on a public forum. We can go toe to toe. But anything in reference to humanity has to be purified. Why? Because you're a spiritual being, have a human experience. What tends to happen, 99.9% of the people that I come across, they are completely submerged and deep diving into their humanity and trying to figure it out. But that is a beast. So in order to get to a space where you are an angel, you have to self-purify. That's chapter 6 of Revelation. Get your notebook, get your dictionary, get your concordance if you can find one. But at the very least, get a top-end dictionary. Read fucking Revelation chapter 6, or get the damn book for like $17 on Amazon. And purify your fucking self of your emotional predilections. It's all emotional nonsense, bestial conversations. You're a good man, but you're not a true man, because the true man knows that he was already gonna die. Well, not he was gonna die, his physical body was gonna die, and he was going to live forever. And he woke up every single day and told everybody who ever came into contact with him that the shit that you tripping on, you really don't need to trip on it, because that shit is inconsequential at the end of the day, because you're a spiritual being having a human experience. You just don't understand it. And the true man stood on that shit. He stood on it every single day, and nobody said, you know what, you're wrong. Matter of fact, everybody that came across the true man, they had a change of heart and realized that they were a true man too. And they realized that they were trying to be a good man, and realized that being a good man was an actual curse.
The voltage is too low.
So the capacity to awaken Kundalini. And that's 4. Let's get to 3. If I got it. And I did not do a screenshot of 3. So 3 is going to be a little topsy-turvy. Or a matter of fact, you know what we'll do? We'll take it back. We'll do this. And then I'm going to just read on my 3rd grade shit. We'll do this screen. And then I'm going to read chapter 3. I'm going to read verse 3, and then I'm going to go into verse 4. I just don't got the screen for 3, but ultimately it's in every fucking Bible, or for like $17.99, you can get on Amazon and get this book. If you don't got this book and read this book thoroughly, you're not going to understand where the fuck I'm coming from. And generally, we're going to have a hard time ever having a space where we fully understand each other. Because I sit here and I vest myself and I give myself over to be a true man, but everybody tries to pull me into being a good man. And my true man is going to win, right? My true man is going to win, and I'm just not happy about it. But ultimately, life is not about being happy. Life is about being true. Life is about being honest. But this is a very important part. Verse 3 goes on to say that, and they speaking on what this one angel who's coming from the east. So one angel comes from the east and speaks to 4 angels. So no fucking angel came from the eastern point of the country and spoke to 4 other angels chilling on the beach, smoking blunts and shooting dice. That didn't happen. It's a symbol. that it's analogy for your soul. Once you do the self-purification of your humanity, go through chapter 6, you enter into chapter 7, right? Prepared. Your personality is not centered on beast energy. And me personally, it's like I had to be around baddies and think like, okay, just the baddie, right? Day in and day out, like chicks that's like, well, you want to risk it all? I'll risk it all for you. We can go right now. And I'm thinking like, nah, right? Because ultimately, I'm not a beast. But I can't say that I'm not a beast if a baddie ain't coming around sending me them nudies, right? Showing me that gruel, showing me them freaky videos y'all like to see and things of that nature. I gotta look at that and throw it in a trash bin. I gotta recognize that in my past previous bestial sense, I'd have been all over that pussy. But in this space of preparing myself and ridding myself of that bestial energy, I want to hold space in a whole different light and a whole different energy. I don't know what the future holds, but in this present moment in space, it is no smoke from the God. So once again, the messenger from your soul comes directly after you purify yourself from all humanity. It speaks to then the emotional, mental, vital, and physical parts of your personality that's not centered on fucking, eating, sexing, eating, more fucking, maybe a little bit more sex, throwing some Netflix, that type shit. It's rid itself of that shit completely. It's not listening to Hotep niggas saying, oh, you need the ego. It's not listening to Hotep niggas saying, oh, you can eat meat. You could do whatever you want to. You God. Yeah, but no. God is a function. And if you don't understand the function of God, you will be a fucking beast. Okay? Hopefully this makes sense, and hopefully you can recognize the bestiality in your good self, in your good mind, right? And start to make changes towards the truth so it make it a little bit easier for those around you, right? So saying hurt not the earth, neither the sea, nor the trees, till we have sealed the servants of our God in their foreheads. This is what verse 3 says. And I'm going to read the analogy, the psychological breakdown that Zach gives. Zach, shout out to Zach. Shout out to Screech. You know what I mean? Spirit guides out here. This intuition says, so this is what the soul is telling to your personality. Do not hurt your physical body. Do not hurt your mental, emotional body. Do not hurt your nervous system. Because we about to turn up our Kundalini energy and it needs to be awakened safely, or other intuitions are going to protect the cells throughout the physical body by raising their consciousness. So you want to bring your whole body along on this ride. You want to go for self-transformation. I want to go for full transformation. So the pressure that I'm feeling is centered in the bestial energy that wants to come up and block this actual process. But it's okay, because you got to be aware of your intuition and play with it. Fuck with it. If you're emotional, you're not going to be able to see how shit is coming for you, right? It might mean you might interpret it. So I'm going to give it to y'all blood raw. So I'm really like trying to figure out what I should do, like for real. Like not like on some shit where a person like, oh shit, we got to feel sorry for Hood Mystic. Not on that shit. I just got an opportunity, right? And let's just say the opportunity was from a company named Amazon. That's not the company, right? But I'm just giving you an analogy. somebody said, oh, we got this opportunity from blank YZ company. So in my journal last night, right, I said, I really don't want to do it. But if I'm supposed to do it, when I wake up in the morning, I will receive a sign. And just hit a period. I ain't journal long. I just journal, boom, close my journal, manipulating the matrix, close my manipulating the matrix, right? Bruh, tell me why I woke up, went to the Gap. First, I went to the Dollar Tree, got what I needed from the Dollar Tree. And I was like, do y'all got an ATM? Because we going to clean the car out and wash it. So I needed some cash so I can get some quarters. So I was like, you got an ATM? She like, no, we don't got an ATM. I said, bet. I just go to the gas station right down the street. Pull up in a gas station, no cars in there. My wife there, she can bear witness if she on the chat. Pull up to the gas station, no cars in there, right? Come out the gas station, nothing but them vans. Not Amazon vans, but the company that I might be working for, so I'm not going to give the name on the live. Y'all ain't going to know where I'm going to be working at, period. Like, but generally, right? All of these company vans is getting gas. I'm like, what in the entire fuck? And then, but I'm just thinking like, man, that is crazy. And I'm thinking of it both ways. Cause I'm like, I told my wife, I was like, if the opportunity still stands, I'm gonna have to take it, because when you play stupid games, you win stupid prizes. Yesterday, I could have been like, if I'm supposed to be with 5 big booty girls, then just give me a sign, you feel me? And then I would have went to the gas station. There'd been 5 big booty girls standing in the gas station line, you feel me? And that would have been, but see, I had programmed it in such a way that I was playing with my fears and playing with my emotions. So I don't think it's an end all be all, but I really do feel like when you play with shit and try to manipulate shit with your emotions, you can get really, really confused out here. But in the space of raising your kundalini, in the space of understanding how you prepare yourself for a full moon, of kind of what I've been trying to allude to in every conversation, every IG live. If you tapped into the mystic math, I was alluding to it in that as well. It is to be specifically clear with your body and your cells, telling your cells what the fuck is going on, right? We are transforming. We are going into a new phase. We're about to manifest a new body. We're about to manifest a new baby, right? Like a new sugar baby, right? We're about to manifest, all of these particular things that we're going to manifest. You're not telling me, I'm not telling my wife, you're telling yourselves. Now, generally, if we beat ourselves up for being beast, that's pretty deep right there. I'm going to just let that sit for a minute as I move slides. So this is one of the terms and the concepts that I've been hearing a lot in the spiritual community, whether on Clubhouse, YouTube, IG, and things of that nature. 144,000. And niggas is really thinking like it's revelation. It's 144,000. I got about 10 cousins. So y'all about 139,390 short. You feel me? Like, y'all got to add us to the list. Like, we in there. Like, we a part of the 144,000, right? But that's one concept. So you looking at the Bible, you reading it, and it's being said as such. Now, reference everything that I've been saying up to this point, right? Everything is symbolic and should not be taken literally, but leave it to niggas, right? Leave it to niggas in the Bible to read this shit and start acting like this shit really happened, right? As crazy as this shit is, you think you can survive. Go ahead and survive in a well for 3 days and tell me about it. Go ahead and create somebody off of a nigga rib and tell me about it. Find me the person that was made from a nigga ribs. You know what I'm saying? I'm about to go get me some ribs right after I finish this video. Barbecue them shits. I am not about to make no goddamn baby from that. Them shit's gonna be scrumptious, but ain't no baby ever going to come from that shit. But you got billions of goddamn Christians on the planet. Y'all help me make that make sense. Y'all help me make that make sense. And I heard the number of them which were sealed, and there were sealed 144,000 of all tribes of the children of Israel. Man, you got hella black people feeling like they read this verse and think that they are part of the goddamn tribes of Israel. They really be reading this shit like it's niggas to this day right now that woke up. I'm talking about beautiful goddesses talking about Yah this and Yah that, and I'm a child of the Most High in Israel. It never fully dawned on them that everything in the fucking Bible is symbolic and not literal. Like no people existed no animals were harmed in the making of this goddamn theatrical play, my guy. Sis, it's not real. You're God. I'll explain. To this day, and I heard a number of them which were sealed, and there were sealed 144,000 of all tribes of the children of Israel. Okay. Eventually, the aspirant receives an intuition saying that the cellular consciousness has been raised within the 12 major parts of his physical body. Wait a second, the 12 disciples. You mean Jacob, John, Luke, John don't really exist? No. So who is they talking about? They're talking about the 12 major parts of the physical body. And I'm not here to go through that today. I'm going to stop here. But if you wanted to deal with the 12 parts, I'm going to go through it real quick. The head, the brain, the eyes, the pineal, the pituitary glands. That's one. The upper body, the heart, the lungs, the throat. That's two. The lower body. Oh, hold on. The head has three major parts. The brain, the eyes, and the pineal and the pituitary gland. That's actually three. The upper body, the heart, the lungs, and the throat. That's six. The lower body, the sex organs, the stomach, and the spleen. That's nine. The body as a whole has three major parts. The skin, bones, and your threefold nervous system. So you got your skin, your bones, and your nervous system. If you had bones and a nervous system, but you ain't have no skin, you be fucked up. If you had bones and you had a nervous system, but you ain't have no skin, you be fucked up. If you had skin and bones, but no nervous system, you be fucked up. So you need your skin, your bones, and then within that, you have a threefold nervous system. Your central nervous system, your sympathetic nervous system, your parasympathetic system, and then breathing air, of course, your circulatory system. Within all of these systems, so you got the brain, you got the eyes, your pineal gland, your pituitary gland, your heart, your lungs, your throat, your sex organs, your stomach, your spleen, your skin, your bones, your nervous system, your circulatory system. What do all of these things have in common? They're cells. They're cells in you. They're literally built of cells. So when you reference the what happens during self-talk, you're charging or depleting your cells based upon your knowledge of the actual building blocks of you. See, one would say the biggest sex sells. No, sex don't sell, because I've been selling sex all day and ain't nobody bought shit. And I'm really trying to sell that shit. Like, I'm on Backpage, I'm on Pornhub, I'm on X videos, and niggas out there, you feel me? You know, Magic Stick, follow me at Magic Stick XXX, you feel me? However, that they nobody buying that shit, right? But you know what actually do sell? What's actually out here really, niggas is really buying? People is buying God, right? People is buying the concept of God more than anything, right? People is buying God more than anything. And the reality is, what's more powerful? Let's throw this in the chat because I want to get a feel on this shit. Is it more powerful to follow somebody else's God or to follow your own personal God? So somebody else's God is more powerful, put somebody else's God. If my own personal God is more powerful, put that on there. Put your own speak for yourself. You feel me? Is your personal God more important than somebody else's God? I would like to know. Like, I would really, really, really like to know. How do y'all feel in that? Because I could be all fucked up. I could be really thinking that somebody else's God is more powerful than my own personal God or something like that. Somebody else's God is more powerful than my own intuition. My own. My God within. My own. Your own personal. All right. This is what I'm thinking. This is my line of thought. Right? But shit. Everywhere you go, cuz every fucking city, town, village you go, you gonna see a goddamn church. You gonna see a church. So why do I go so hard on this chakra work? Do I want y'all to follow the God of Kyrie? No, I want you to follow the God of you. But if you haven't got that shit set up within yourself, that's the process of self-purifying. But if you're trying to be the best person out here, live the best life, have the most money without actually purifying your soul, purifying your toxic energy and coming into your God self, and then once again, it's a darker, deeper side to it. You are the craziest person ever, right? And you are going to get tested in this so much. And people is going to test your lower self every chance, right? And the thing about our lower self is that we can keep that shit hidden for a majority of our lives, right? But then it shows in your actions, in your behaviors, in your goddamn perversions and shit, right? You out here showing up all weird and shit. It shows up in your anxiety and your emotions, right? And all of this shit is present and prevalent within our community. And the reality is that we don't have an actual solution. My idea is to take what people are already comfortable with, i.e. the Bible, right? And flipping it on you and telling you, hopefully within this conversation, you never felt stressed and you felt more enlightened than before. Like, hopefully you can read Revelations now, or even get this book, The Revelation of St. John, and tap into it with more of a purpose of what I'm actually trying to lay out. It's not for me that I get on here. Well, I get on here for me. Because if I'm feeling down, I can't always rely on my wife to be like, all right, strip, motherfucker. I got some ones, motherfucker, start twerking that shit. You know, like, she probably going through her own shit, you feel me? So at the end of the day, I might have to rely on my own soul from time to time. Because generally, 85% of the time, she already ready. She already in that pose. She already, you know what I'm saying, twerking for the dollars and shit. But sometimes she not. So I got to go within myself, develop, build, and find my own soul, right? And because of that, like, I can feel tension, right? And I used to be like, all right, I'm feeling down, I'm feeling tension, let me go in my fucking cubby hole and feel sorry for myself. I knew exactly what the solution was. I had to self-soothe. I had to get in tune with my own intuition and my own God. And at the end of the day, when it's all said and done, when you all come to the end of your life and shit, I would hope that you said, I understand that I'm a spiritual being having a human experience, and I'm okay with this human body letting go. Because this human body don't define me and don't make it me be a good person or a bad person. At the end of the day, what determines my goodness is my ability to reflect on my true nature, which is my spiritual nature, which is my divine nature, But in order to access it, I have to be very visceral and very matter of fact on clearing away my insanity. And that's going to be the hardest part. But even when you reference the hardest part or the easiest part, my nigga, it is parts to this shit. It is a mechanic to it. It is a function. And if you want to sit down and have a conversation on raising your chakras, please pull up to the Chakra Nova Instagram page and pre-order the book. There's a lot of good things that's happening. And I'm about to end this video right now because I'm now supercharged to get back into my editing mode. Peace.